Clay Howard. Tell me a little bit about what you do at CI Web Group.
I help to manage our sales team here at CI Web Group. We pride ourselves in not having 10, 15, or 20 sales folks. We are very strategic in how we've been growing our business by being in front of people physically at events and speaking, as well as strategically using the territory sales managers or territory managers or account managers of our different distribution partners.
Talk to me a little bit about what you're looking for and who an ideal client is. What do you want that makeup to be? Who fits?
Yeah, I like that you bring that up because this is the first time in my sales career that that's the case. I'm not just trying to sell a product or service and keep it moving. We're very selective in who we want to be as a customer. We want someone that's hungry, someone that's committed, someone that's going to, as you like to say, show up, suit up, and participate. And normally I can tell that within the first 5 minutes or so on a phone call. If someone's a little combative or confrontational, if they have a lot of really good questions, if they've prepared for the call. I've had some customers recently who have taken time to check us out. Who are we? What are we all about? What sets us apart? How are we different from other folks that they are interviewing? All of those different things are really important for us because we're the first line of defense when it comes to interviewing or customer contact. And so ideally what we don't want to happen is bring on board a customer who doesn't show up for the team.
So what are some of the other differences about CI Web Group that you see or you've heard from our clients compared to the rest of kind of digital marketing agencies? What are the big factors that make you feel proud in addition to us getting results?
Yeah, for me lately especially, it's been content. I've had a few dealers recently who have 10 or 15 page websites and they're spending 1, 2, 3, 4 grand a month on SEO and a 5 to 10 grand a month budget for paid, and they're getting no traction. They're not going anywhere. They're spending that money month after month after month and have seen nothing happen for 12 to 24 months, which is odd, right? That shouldn't be the case. If you're spending that kind of money, you should see the needle moving. Yeah. But then within 5 minutes of showing them, well, let's look at your competitor's website. Oh, he has a 200-page website, right? That's why when we're doing a search for AC replacement, that one competitor keeps coming up over and over and over. And then we do site calling on their website and it shows that they've got a 10-page website. You literally can see the light bulb moment that goes off over their head because they say, you know what, nobody's ever explained that to me. I've been with XYZ marketing company for the past 2 years. They never showed me that. Or I've been through 3 different marketing companies over the last 5 years. Nobody's ever shown me that content is important. And to them, it makes sense. They're like, you know what? How can I sell ductless if ductless or mini split is nowhere on my website? It doesn't make sense that I would get phone calls for heat pump installation if I have no heat pump installation content. So something that simple, that always makes me feel really good because that's one of the first things you showed me way back when. But now with contractors that really think that they're spending good money, and they are, on SEO, but they're getting no traction. Oftentimes lately, it goes back to that one simple thing. That Google can't find them for something that doesn't exist.
What has been your experience with a lot of the prospects you talk to and their situation with contracts and the difference?
They get mad, right? Because they realize, why should I have to be locked into a year or two? I've had some that had to wait it out, maybe 6 months or a year. And when that time frame is up, they've come back to us and we've started on projects with them. I've had 1 or 2 that had the means to cancel or get out of the contract, which means they had to pay money to end that relationship, but then came over to us, right? So it's a difficult situation for them. In fact, I've had a few that one lady last week she came to tears because she realized that she couldn't do anything right now. And now she had to go through the summer months, with a contract and not anticipating much. However, I've followed your lead on this and, I think it will benefit us in the future. I've encouraged folks to look, these are the suggestions that we would do. These are the things that we would implement. Take it back to your team that you're paying good money to. See if they will implement these different suggestions so that you can start to make some progress. And when the time is right, and when the opportunity exists that you can move over, we'll be ready for you. But at least see if you can take these suggestions and get them to implement it. We're not the kind that play all of our cards really close to our chest, right? We're willing to share information that will help contractors grow, and they'll remember that when it comes to making decisions in the future.
All right. So what about our team, our ops team, and what is your viewpoint on their communication frequency, their style, their transparency? What really do you think sets them apart from experiences you've heard from other contractors that maybe have to press to find out what they're spending money on, or don't know what work is being done, and so forth? What's the biggest difference?
I love our team because they really care about people first and foremost. They're genuine, good-hearted folks that really care about our customers. They're not just trying to sell them something, right? And that makes me comfortable because then I feel comfortable handing them off. Mike and I close something. I feel confident that when I hand it off to the next team, they're going to do exactly what I told the customer they're going to do, right? I'm not just blowing smoke, but they're actually going to follow through, whether it's onboarding or the project, the design and the development, or once everything is live and the SEO has started. I always check in with my customers through the first 3 months of designing and building the website, and I check in with them after the website's live. And I can honestly say that every single customer is thrilled with our team, what they deliver. They over communicate, I think, which is a good thing, because oftentimes, right, what happens is out of sight, out of mind.
So talk to me a little bit more about, what are some of the questions that you wish that prospective customers asked when you get on a strategy call with them? I know a lot of times they're stuck on, the negative experience they've had with other agencies and poor performance and feeling like they've been hosed or scammed or whatever from other marketing companies. But what do you wish that the conversation really centered around that you think would provide the most value to them?
In other words, what questions I wish people would ask?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why is SEO so important? I wish someone would ask that, because they just seem to think of paid advertising. That's the only way I can grow my business. Laying that SEO foundation is really important. I wish they would ask more about that. I wish people would realize that they can grow their business. One of the ways they can grow their business is by generating more leads for financing. I just had a conversation with a dealer. He's been in business 10 years, never has offered financing, doesn't think that people in his market need it. But when I asked him, when's the last time you paid cash for your cell phone or for a car or for any other large ticket item in your home? He says, well, I don't do that. So then why do you think your customers don't need financing? It's a good way to get new customers, right? They do SEO for AC replacement financing. And I wish folks would ask, what's the harm in changing the marketing team every year or every other year, right? But a lot of people don't think about that. They don't see that there's anything wrong with doing that. They just hop, skip, and jump from one team to the next without giving any thought to, is that really benefiting me or not? Is that helping my business or not by making those frequent changes? So yeah, those are just a few.
What if you were advising somebody that was just getting started with us, what would you tell them they need to be prepared for onboarding a web project and that relationship month over month over month, year over year? Going forward, how do they need to strategically prep themselves as a business owner for this relationship?
Yeah, either themselves or whoever they designate to work with us, they need to be prepared to get involved. We're not the kind of company that you sign up and then, once we get domain access, you never see us in your logo. You just kind of disappear and we don't need you anymore. That is not us whatsoever. So I really try to plant the seed and let them know we're going to need you, especially in the very beginning when it comes to the onboarding, project launch, making sure that we're working on the right target cities and keywords, etc. We really, really need their participation in all that. But I always stress that our most productive accounts and the best relationships that we have when it comes to progress are our contractors that have their finger on the pulse with what's happening on their project.